Hello and welcome to Twerk, a space where you can hear and read about some amazing people, the fantastic jobs they do and the paths that led them to where they are today. I'm here with Kerry. Hi Kerry.
Hiya.
Could you tell the listener what it is you do for a living?
I run an upholstery business.
Yeah.
But we specialise in vintage cinema seats.
I mean, niche but amazing. Before we go into that though, we're going to track all the way back.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about little Kerry.
Okay.
What were you like? What were you into when you were younger?
I was just constantly bored. Constantly. That was my favourite thing to say. I think I'm bored.
Just bored.
I'm bored. That's all right. I had a,
You just wanted to do stuff.
Yeah, I don't even think I was a great doer. I just was constantly, I mean, it wasn't like it is now, growing up in the 70s and the 80s, there was literally nothing to do, was there?
If your mates were busy,
that
was it. And there was you had four TV channels?
Yeah. I actually remember when Channel 4 came in.
I do as well.
It's aging us, but anyway.
We'll cut that bit out. Yeah. So if your mates were busy
Yeah.
and there was nothing on TV.
Yeah. That's what I remember most. I didn't really like school. I thought that was boring as well. I think I was just,
And you not bored, you were unstimulated.
Well, yeah, probably now.
Yeah,
But yeah.
now you know.
I used to say I'm bored and my dad would always say boring people get bored, Kerry.
Good thing to say, though. Okay. So, but you did okay at school? You enjoyed school?
I did okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I was fairly good at school. Came out with quite good grades.
Yeah.
Not like amazing, but pretty good. But I just didn't like it. I just thought it was boring.
But did you have some subjects that you liked, though?
Quite liked art.
Yeah.
Again, wasn't particularly gifted in it, but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I did business studies, actually. When I was there, they were just starting to test out like these vocational kind of courses.
Yes.
So I did like a technical vocational thing that was business studies. I enjoyed that. That was it, really.
Okay, and then did you go to college?
I did go on to college. I did business studies and finance.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I did that. That was okay. Yeah, I quite enjoyed that.
So you were good at maths then, I'm guessing?
Yeah, I'm actually quite good at maths.
Okay, so that, I can't tell you how rarely that comes up in these pods, but maths is the thing everyone goes, yeah, I really didn't like maths.
No, I didn't like English.
Wow.
Yeah, I liked maths better.
Yes, you liked
I wasn't loving maths, don't get me wrong,
No,
but I'm more comfortable with maths than English.
But to then go on to A-levels and do it, though, that's quite a...
Yeah, I didn't do A-levels, I did a BTEC in business finance. Yeah, I just like equivalent to A-levels, as I've always told my husband. I did that, I quite enjoyed that. But didn't... Yeah, that was it then. That was the end of my education at the end of that. So.
Yeah, so then 18...
I got a job doing, as an export clerk, doing freight forwarding.
Wow, okay. So I guess, because for anyone, we're in Essex right now, aren't we? So I'm guessing...
I wasn't Essex then, I was Sussex.
Okay.
So, yeah, just...
But it's still very much
it was Gatwick Airport, so, near there. Anyway, sort of on the outskirts, on industrial estate on the outskirts, the glamour.
Wow.
But kind of just did that, and then I've just moved through so many different jobs. I've always worked, but I wouldn't say I had a career.
Right.
And that has been my biggest disappointment in life, I think.
But is that because you just hadn't really found it?
Never knew what I wanted to do, so I had nothing really to aim for. And just, I had my first daughter when I was 20.
Right.
In a slightly difficult situation. So, yeah, it just didn't pan out that way for me. So I think I've had loads of jobs and I've done fairly well in them, but never really got promoted or anything. Just...
Your heart's not been in it.
I don't even know if it's that. The opportunities just weren't there. Weren't there. Never came my way. I don't really know why. I don't know.
Maybe it's the universe telling you weren't doing the right thing.
Yeah, maybe not. I always wanted my own business. Yeah. When growing up, I always thought, if I thought about what I wanted to do, I wanted my own business, but I didn't know doing what. I didn't care.
You just knew you wanted to work for yourself.
Yeah, always knew that. But again, I wasn't in a position to do that. I didn't have any money or anything like that. So just had loads and loads of different jobs. Loads of office jobs, done secretary jobs. I've worked in a bingo hall.
Amazing. What, actually calling the numbers?
No, you're like a runner. So you just, when somebody calls...
You have to go
like bingo,
and check
you go
it.
and check the card and just read out the
numbers.
numbers.
And you've got to check it. And I bet you do you get people trying to...
Yeah, it was all right, actually. We had quite a laugh doing that.
So how old were you when you were doing that, though?
Probably when I was at college, I worked in the bingo hall.
Yeah.
Actually, my mate left college to work full time in the bingo hall. How was that?
It was that good. It was that fun.
Well, he thought it was. I'm not sure that I did. But yeah, that was okay. I've done, like, I can turn my hand to most things, I think. I've done retail, quite like that. I don't mind that.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of different things. But it just never, didn't feel that the opportunities ever came my way to progress anywhere.
Right.
So you're always just kind of doing your job.
Yeah.
They're just jobs that pay you a wage, and that's rather than, you know, thinking, oh, if I stick at this, I'm going to raise to there.
Yeah,
Because I think if that opportunity had come along somewhere, I probably would have run with it.
Yeah.
Because I was quite ambitious, but I just didn't know where to put the energy. I don't know.
But maybe, again, that is like I don't know if you believe in that kind of stuff, but it does almost feel like it's because it wasn't the right thing, maybe. And
maybe not. And then I started doing, like, various different businesses, some more successful than others.
So, and had you got children at this point?
Yeah, so I went on and had another, I had quite a big gap, I had a 9-year gap between my first, and then I had another 2. So when they were quite young, I started doing a craft business selling craft supplies.
Okay.
On a quite a small scale. We had a little unit, but it wasn't like a high street shop. Never really made much money. It didn't lose money, but it didn't really make much money.
Yeah.
Then what did I do after that? Oh, then I did a kids party business, doing kids parties. I mean, that was pretty horrendous.
What had made you? Had you been to like a kids' party?
No,
and
I just thought I could do that and make some money. I just needed something that I could make money, and I still had to be picking the kids up from school, etc.
Yeah.
So we didn't really have any family around us to help with childcare or anything. So it was kind of more that. Then I went into doing festival trading. So I used to like go around the festivals, and I had to have a stand, and we used to sell fairy wings and stuff like that, and tutus and stuff, and I used to make the wings.
You can't just drop that in casually afterwards.
Yeah, again, it was... Do you know what?
You just have to, like, what? Just make loads and loads and loads of them?
Yeah, and then
in
sell
advance
them.
And sell them. And I bet they'd sell like hotcakes.
They actually did quite well. I think it hit it at the right time when that was quite popular. I'm not sure that it would work now.
Well, now they just get them from China, don't they?
I was making them all. Then I started buying them in, but they were sort of fair trade ones that were coming in. But yeah, we did okay. I did that for quite a few years, and then I absolutely loved it. I loved everything about it. I loved all the people, and I really loved it. And I mean, it didn't, pay vast amounts of money, but you could make quite good money.
Yeah.
You could have...
But like you say, it's a life balance though, isn't it? It's the work-life or money-life balance.
It did bring in money. Yeah. So that was quite good.
And it gave you freedom and time with the kids.
But it was still difficult with the kids, and because I didn't really have anybody to have them, and my husband wasn't his passion, so he would be working full time, and then he'd kind of come down at the weekend, but we'd have to juggle the kids, and it was just really difficult. So I stopped doing that, and then I kind of carried on doing it and making the tutus, and then I used to sell them online as well.
Okay.
That was okay, and then I started a Volkswagen camper van business.
Okay.
That was quite successful.
I've got to ask, how have you gone from that to that?
Do you know what it was? I hired one.
Was it at the festivals though?
No, it wasn't. No, I hired one. We hadn't been away or been on holiday or anything. We didn't really prioritise holidays when the kids were younger. There wasn't really that much money floating around, so it just wasn't where we chose to spend our money. And I think, the kids had not had an amazing summer holiday that year, like it had been like, oh, I've got work, I've got to do this, I haven't got money to go out or whatever and do all these things that people do. And I just thought, oh, it'd be a bit of a treat, I'll hire a VW camper van, an old vintage one, like a sort of 70s one, and my son will really like that, it'd be something fun that he'll enjoy. And then I had to go to London to get it, not particularly local to where we were, and I just thought, I hired it and I just loved it, and I just thought, oh, this is cool, I want one of these. And then I was like, well, I can't afford to have one unless it makes money. So I thought I could do a hire business here, because there wasn't really anybody in Essex in our area doing anything like that. So I actually stayed friends with the lady that I hired the original one off, and so it wasn't stepping on anybody's toes. She helped me quite a lot when I got going. So I basically sold my car, went to the bank and said I needed to buy another car, so I just took out a personal loan for that, and then used that to buy my first camper van, and then we kind of went from there.
Okay, so and you did it up, so you...
No, that one was good. No, that one was okay, but over the years we went up to... I think we had 5 different ones in the end, but we ended up with 3 of the split screen ones, which are the really beautiful old ones.
Yeah.
We had one of them we bought and restored and had it fully restored and everything. And then I was doing holiday hire. It was really good. It was good, as in there was loads of work for it, but it was really stressful.
I was going to say,
it just was never ending, and it was just people phoning you up saying, "Oh, this has gone wrong, that's gone wrong. I can't get the charger working." You were always on call. And it was just stressful.
Didn't damage them though, did they? Or
most people didn't.
Yeah.
Most people didn't. But you had a few like tricky things, and it was just all quite stressful. And we store them up at this barn, and we'd spend quite a lot of evenings up the barn trying to amend things on the engines. And my husband was like, "Can you just get a business that I don't have to be involved at all?" So. So we swapped to wedding hire only, because I used to do a few weddings I didn't really want to do, but I was like, okay, people kept asking me, and I thought, yeah, I'll do that. And then we eventually swapped fully over to wedding hire.
Wow.
So hence why I got all the split screens, because they're more popular for the weddings. And
as actual wedding vehicles?
Yeah, it's wedding vehicles. Yeah. So we take the bride and groom or the bridesmaids, but quite often, usually the bride and groom. So I had 3 of them in the end. So I had driver working for me as well. And it was really popular, and it did really well. I think we got up to about 300 weddings a year we were doing, but it's not consistent. So you do really well over a few short months, and it's full on, but then in the winter they're not very popular in the winter, and they're not great to take out in the winter because there's no heating really in them. They're not great on icy roads or anything like that. And so it was kind of quite hit and miss. So it did make money. We definitely made money, but it just it's quite hard to grow it. It's
feast and famine, isn't it?
Yeah, all the time, and it's just, and they take a lot of upkeep, the vehicles, and it was just.
Do you now know loads about VW? You could go in. If someone rocked up now, like mechanically, are you pretty savvy?
No, not really. No, my husband's pretty good.
Okay.
I always say I'm quite good on the spanners if he tells me what to do.
Yes.
I'm very practical. So if he says, "Oh, you need to take that part off and put that in," then yes. But understanding the whole thing and basics, but not really. No, lots about camper vans though. I could tell you exactly what year it was and all that sad stuff. So we did that, and then my dad got ill. It's a bit of a long story, isn't it? My dad got ill, got Alzheimer's actually. And it was quite a rapid onset. So from being diagnosed, he only lived another about 6 months.
Oh, gosh.
But I think it just threw me for such a curve. It was just so horrible. And I just kind of just made a snap decision after that I don't want to do this anymore. The two weren't connected. My dad... no connection at all to my business. And we weren't, we didn't live close to them or anything, but it just been a really stressful time, and I in my head the two are linked, but I don't really know how. Do you know what I mean? There wasn't one thing.
Well, sometimes it's like you say, it just give you that for whatever reason to just go, I need to change this. There's something it's not right. I need to change it.
Do you know what I think a lot of it. I remember having to be back up the barn the next day because a customer was coming up, and I thought, this is ridiculous. My dad died in the night, and then I had to be at work the next morning. No, you'd never normally have to do that.
No.
And people think working for yourself, you've got freedom, but you haven't necessarily. No. I think it might have been that trigger that just made me think this is, I don't know, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I kept going for another year after that because I had commitments for that year, so I did that. But and then we sold off all the camper vans and had a very nice year on the back of it.
I was going to say.
We had a lovely time on the back of it.
Yeah, well, you'd have made really good money on them.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
That's actually where the business really did us a favour.
Yeah.
Because we bought them really well, and then we sold them better.
Yeah. There you go. Very savvy. Okay, so and where are we in your lifetime now then? How old were you when all this was?
I'm trying to think. I was probably 42. 23.
Okay, so your kids were a bit older and...
No, they were still at primary. Well, the older one was older, but the other two were still sort of primary, just going into secondary. So, my youngest now is just gone off to uni. So that's kind of where we are now. So I decided, when I knew I wasn't going to carry on with the business, I decided that I was sort of panicking what was I going to do next.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I cannot go back to another minimum wage job. I just can't. At my age, I just thought, I just can't do that. It's soul destroying. And I just thought, right, if I get a trade, I can earn a decent wage. And then it was literally a snap decision to learn upholstery. I just suddenly, I don't know, I saw something. I can't even remember why I did. I think I saw a chair that on Pinterest or something, and I just thought, oh my God, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And then I thought, oh, upholstery. I reckon I could have a go at that. That is something I could learn and be quite good, because I'm quite practical and also quite creative and stuff. So I was like, oh, maybe that would suit me. And then I literally just Googled upholstery colleges, found there was one about half an hour ago, phoned them up, said, do you do courses? And they said, yeah, we do the diploma courses. And you can come and have a look if you want. And I was like, right, I'll be there in half an hour. And I literally went and just signed up.
Brilliant.
And
when did you start? Like the next week or something?
Yeah, pretty soon after that, like a few weeks after that. So it's quite intensive, your course. Well, you can do it all sorts of different ways. There's like 3 levels to it. But you can do it, like, some people did it 1 day a week. Some people did it full time.
Yes,
I pretty much did it full time, because although I was still running the camper vans, they were predominantly at that stage weekends.
Yes,
So I generally had my week free anyway.
And you needed to blitz it as well.
Yeah, so I wanted to get up and running as soon as I possibly could.
So you qualified?
I qualified, and then I had this idea that I was going to buy vintage chairs, because I love vintage, and that I was then going to upholster them with beautiful, quite bold fabrics and then sell them.
On Pinterest or hadn't really thought?
Just anywhere I could, really. Etsy, my
eBay,
website, Instagram, it turned out that was really hard to do, because it's the same thing I think now when I think about it, because people often say to me, oh, why don't you make more chairs to sell? But you can't, I mean, I very occasionally do it, but I hardly ever do anymore, because you've got to find somebody that loves the chair in your bold fabric. It also has got to then fit into their home. So say I've gone for something that's greens and pinks. Well, they might love it, but they've got to have a spot in their home that it would fit. Yeah. They've got to be able to afford it. And they've got to, actually want to buy that thing. I was going to say,
it's not on IKEA. Not that IKEA is that cheap anymore, but it's not an IKEA chair, is it?
No, it's not. It's an investment.
And it takes a lot of time to do it.
Yeah, so it's trying to get all those things. So,
and were you taking commissions at the time as well, i.e. people would bring a chair to you? Or...
Well, originally I didn't want to go that route.
Right.
Because I think when I was at college, learning the upholstery, like a lot of people, they want to learn it so they could then go and become an upholsterer and take people's chairs in and redo. And I never really wanted to do that at that point. I had a vision of what I wanted to do, that build a brand, selling these really beautiful chairs, etc., etc.
So it was on your terms, how you wanted to...
Reality was I pretty quickly had to start taking some chairs in, because you got to pay bills.
Yeah. Well, and also, I guess, build a name and reputation.
So I worked really hard on my Instagram to build up, like who I was and what I was about. And I slowly built up getting known for like bold fabrics. So now we're all about predominantly velvets and very bold ones. We do. I mean, you can't see where we're sat. We're actually surrounded by some grey chairs at the moment, but that's pretty.
Everything else is very bold.
Yes.
You have a look. You have an amazing fabric wall over there.
Yeah, I do. And
which I will take a picture if that's all right.
That's what we're all about. Yeah. But sometimes you have to just take on jobs to pay the bills, don't you? So we tend to. I mean, obviously we've got trade accounts with like the big fabric houses. But we also work with loads of independent designers and kind of got known for doing it. And then a lot of them would then reach out and say, oh, we've got a new collection, or we've started doing this. Would you be interested in doing some of your seats in them? So that happens quite a lot, which works for us as well. And it's good for them. And, it's just about both shouting each other out to reach, similar audiences.
Yeah.
So I would say once I niched down on what I was actually doing and got my business kind of it evolved into what it is today more. And the cinema seats, I would say, are now probably 85% of my work.
Well, let's chat then. What was this? Did you come across a first cinema seat, or how did that start?
Yeah, I just always buying vintage stuff just because I love buying stuff. And I don't love buying stuff.
Vintage stuff. You love buying vintage stuff.
I love going out and buying vintage things for my home. Yeah. But I haven't got a massive house. So I was, there's only so much you can fit in there. Yeah. And then I was just on one of these sort of like buying trips, I like to say to myself, but whatever. Buying these things. And I saw some cinema seats and I thought, they're quite cool. I could do something with them. And just bought them on a whim. And then I put them on my Instagram stories and said, does anybody fancy these? And somebody said, oh, yeah, can you reupholster them? So I did that.
But you'd as purchased, not reupholstered?
No, I just...
You literally found them and went, okay, does anyone want them? I found these.
Yeah,
right.
But, I've got these. Anybody want them? Or they could be reupholstered. Yeah. And somebody said, oh, yeah, can you reupholster them? So I did that. Then pretty soon after that, I bought another set of 4, I think. Again, for no real thing. I just thought they're quite cool and a good price. And so I bought them, put them out. And I had a lovely customer that said, oh, yeah, can you do them in bubblegum pink? And I want all the metalwork gold on them and the base is gold. And I did this set, and that was the set that launched everything. So, wow. I mean, like, I did so many bubblegum pink cinema seats. It was crazy. I never, ever get asked for it anymore.
How many cinema seats are out there, though?
I know.
Loads, actually.
Yeah,
all these.
So I think
about the cinema. There was a cinema in the town that I grew up in.
There was so many of them, and they still turn up in really weird places. Yeah. So, after that, it just really took off, and then COVID came along. Right.
So how long before COVID were you going then?
I think I've been going about 8 years now. Okay. So yeah. But COVID, I would say, it was around COVID time that everything really came together for me as a business. I think I was doing this full time, but it was just me. And then when COVID happened, my son wasn't doing anything at the time because the work had stopped because of COVID. And I said, well, we're living in the same house, so you can be in the studio with me and give me a hand. And then obviously people were spending money on the homes, so it really took off.
They really spent money on their homes, didn't they?
Really took off. So I feel that's where, it really grew. And then we just grew from there.
Wow. Okay, so at the moment, 85% are cinema seats still. So what's the other 15%?
I would say customer commissions. So we do sofas, armchairs. So it tends to be with the chairs particularly family heirloom type chairs, or like it was their mother's chair or something that was sat in her bedroom and now they'd like to give it, and they want to keep it but they want to update it. Yes. So there's a lot of that. We do sofas. Tends to be customers that want something a bit bolder than you can just go and buy.
Well, that's very much how you're pitched, aren't you?
Yeah, that's my brand, and that's what we're all about.
Because there are, bog standard upholsterers you can go to for just normal stuff.
Of course there are.
They're coming for something very unique with you, aren't they?
Well, what they're getting, I think, as opposed to, like, should we say, the old school upholsterers, they're coming to me because I'm going to advise them on the fabrics, not just on the suitability, but like ideas for the fabrics. So we have a whole design consultation.
Lovely, yeah.
And, we go through this whole journey of what look they're trying to achieve, what the house, where the room is it's going.
You're almost becoming like a stylist as well.
Yeah, it's like a bit of interior design on it. And we kind of work through them with that, then suggesting and narrowing it down and then sampling, and that's what they're getting, as opposed to just come in, there's my books, pick a fabric and I'll put it on.
Could someone come to you though, I'm thinking about me in the future, and kind of go, right, I've just bought a house or whatever it is, I need to get a new, I don't know, maybe I'm remodelling my lounge or something, I don't quite know, because I don't know, maybe you do this already, but almost like I don't have the furniture.
Yeah.
But I kind of know this is kind of like my mood board. This is this kind of thing I'd like. So you could go away and find chairs, sofas, everything.
Yeah.
And
definitely do that.
Thing. Yeah.
And I think that's more where my skill set lies. Although I'm obviously a trained upholsterer, it's really about working with the customers, and like getting them to where they want.
In many ways, you could dress a whole room, couldn't you?
Yeah.
You could even buy mirrors, everything, couldn't you? You could literally go away.
Whatever.
Yeah.
this is something like we've dabbled a few times because, like I say, I spend a lot of time looking at vintage stuff.
Yeah.
And I keep seeing the coolest things, and I think, oh my God, that would look amazing styled like this. But it's just, I've played with the idea a few times about starting to buy things and resell them. I used to do it a little bit, and then I stopped. And then, it is in my plans for next year.
Well,
hopefully.
Okay. So yeah, what are the plans ahead then?
Okay, so I obviously will keep going with my cinema seats because I still love my cinema seats. And
and you're now known for it.
Yeah,
you are. Yeah.
So I'll keep going on that. But I am hopefully moving. It's been going on forever.
I know.
Saga.
Well, the first initial was like, might be here or I might be here.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, no worries.
If this ever happens.
Oh, well, we actually are. We're waiting for an estate agent call as we sit here.
Yeah, if it ever happens, then yeah, my plans are to change up a bit how I'm working and what I'm doing. So I want to be doing alongside all the upholstery. I want to be offering more of the sourcing services.
Yeah, and the styling
of the things. I've got an interior designer that works for us that comes in as we need her. She's like professionally trained. So we want to start offering, mood board things and colour schemes for rooms and that kind of thing as well alongside, because it kind of fits with what we're doing.
It totally does. Yeah.
I never wanted to be just an upholsterer. That wasn't what it was about.
No.
And so I've kind of built my brand to be more of a brand as opposed to just
absolutely
I'm Kerry the upholsterer.
Yeah,
that's not what I wanted.
And you've done that. You've succeeded.
Yeah, hope so.
But still got loads more potential ahead.
Yeah, so you can take it, and so I wanted it so I could go in different directions because life changes all the time, doesn't it?
Well, if we've learnt anything in the last 5 years, it is that.
Yeah, you just don't know what's around life's corner. So I wanted something that I could sort of go with as the opportunities came along.
Yeah.
That we could kind of do that. So because we've changed as we've gone.
What's the maddest? Have you had a crazy request that's come in or anything like that?
Disappointingly, no, not really.
Well, someone's not come and said, I want a load of cock and balls all over.
No, not too much. No, nothing like that. We've had some where we started doing an icons range where we took quite iconic people and then we had them design the fabric for it, and then we worked with a traditional sign writer who did the base of the cinema seats.
Wow.
So we've done things like that. We've collaborated with somebody else that does turns like old telephones or anything really into like steampunk lights and stuff like that. So we've done cinema seats with them attached and things like that. So we've done things like that, but nothing too
risque.
Right. No, we've had a couple that there's a couple of it was the fabric we do that's Cool Girls, that's by a company called Dupenny.
That's cool though.
Yeah, quite risky.
Yeah,
I would say.
Wow. Okay. Well, is there anything else, either about your business or about upholstery, that you think anyone needs to know? So I guess that's two very big questions. So let's do upholstery to start with.
Okay.
What do people need to know about this? If they're, maybe they're 20, 30, 40, or maybe they're 16, 17, what would you say to them if starting out, if they like upholstery and they want to go into it?
I would suggest that you do some training.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of self-trained people and there's a lot of dodgy stuff out there.
Yeah.
So, not that everybody is Anyway, moving swiftly on.
Do it properly.
Do it properly if you're going to do it. It does cost money. So do think about what you're learning, the course that we did was the AMUSF one. So it's like a recognised one and it teaches you all the traditional upholstery as well as modern technology. Scrap that bit. It teaches you traditional upholstery as well as modern upholstery.
Yes, yeah.
But actually, I don't do very much traditional work at all. It's not. Some people love it. It's not my thing, really. I can do it, but I don't do it. I never get asked to do it, really. And while it's great to have that understanding because then you know how it works, actually, it cost me a lot of money and a lot of time to learn that bit.
Yeah.
That maybe that could have been spent somewhere else.
But did you have to do it as part of?
As part of that course, you do. It's quite heavily leaning that way. I think the key thing is do some proper training, but also try and find an upholsterer that will
get
take
an
you on.
apprenticeship and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get an apprenticeship, happy days. But if you're not in the situation where you can do that, even helping out 1 or 2 days a week in an upholstery thing. And I would say those sort of jobs are not usually advertised. You have to approach people.
You've got to find someone. But let's face it, it's never been easy to find people, is it?
Just keep reaching out to people. Like, I think also, and build your network.
And offer to do stuff for free. That's the thing, you know.
I think, and be honest with people about why you want to come and work there, because I've had people that approach me and say, can I come and do some work experience? But, my first question would be, what's the end goal? Like, what are you hoping to do? Because actually, if you're hoping to set up a cinema seat company down the road, then I probably can't offer you a job. But if you just want to learn it and learn the trade, then potentially you can. I think it's building a network as well of other upholsterers that you can rely on, so that you can, if you've got a problem, you can ask them, do you know how this works? Every upholstery job is different. We're constantly trying new things, and some of them work and some of them fail really badly, but things fail all the time, but it's just people don't shout about.
But when you say fail, what, things just don't sell?
Sometimes they don't sell, or it doesn't work out like you think.
But that isn't necessarily still a failure, is it? Because
it depends how you want to address it.
Well, but I guess equally, you've still got a product that probably looks amazing. As a photo, you know what I mean? Like as an asset for so much other stuff. It just hasn't paid its out, hasn't washed its face yet. But
some things, I just think some things work out, some things maybe don't work out. But if you don't try them, you don't know, do you? No, and you just got to keep trying until you find the things that do work, and then do more of them.
Brilliant. Well, it sounds like you've got the right attitude for it, though. At least you can kind of roll with it, and you're willing to kind of, change as you need to.
Do you know, I think because I haven't got a set idea about what it has to be.
Yeah.
So I don't mind a change. Do you know what I mean? I'm not
what you've like you say, you've developed a brand. You know, people, you know what it stands for and what it represents, but the products within it.
Yeah. That doesn't really matter too much what they are, which is what we found. Because when I was doing the cinema seats, I kind of thought, well, you kind of lost your customer then. Yeah. So because they're going to buy a set of cinema seats, they probably don't need 2 sets of cinema seats. But surprisingly, the same customers come back, because then they'll come back and have a chair upholstered.
Oh, to match and things like that. Or
not usually to match. They just like working with us. So they'll say, I've got a chair, can you do that? And then they'll buy a puff from us, and then they'll buy some cushions. It's surprising how many customers have come back again and again and again. And that's such a lovely thing. It's the biggest compliment, isn't it? Because they're obviously happy with what they're getting to keep coming back. So a lot of our upholstery actually comes from previous cinema seat customers.
Or referrals from other people. Okay, I'm going to ask you my 3 final questions then. And then because it is dark and you need to get home. So question 1 is always, what, or is there any advice, which you basically said it at the start, that you would give your younger self?
Yeah, I think if I could go back, I would learn a trade earlier. Not necessarily, it wouldn't have to be necessarily upholstery. I think I just wish I'd learned a trade earlier, so I could have hit the ground running at an earlier age. Yeah.
And because ultimately, given how you've described yourself, that would have then still led, even if you might not have been the trade you ended up on, but it would have taken you on
we have a standing joke. My husband's always like, you only last 5 years in doing anything, and then you want to change. And this is the longest. I've been going longer than 5 years at this. This is the longest I've stuck now. And I think I'm less inclined to keep changing. But
well, because you've developed a business and a brand that itself can change.
Yeah, so I can do I don't need to throw it all out and then start all over again. No, so
you can just change within it.
Yeah, which is, So
in many ways, I know what you're saying about when you're younger, but maybe you wouldn't. Maybe this was just the path you were meant to take. Yeah,
maybe. I think I was always just a bit sad that I never had a career.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Hadn't found your thing. Earlier.
Yeah, so I could have got somewhere by this stage. You know.
God, like we said off mic before we started, that's one of the biggest things I really want Twerk to do. Is just be this kind of like, because you just don't know what you can do, what you can do for what. I just want to have this bank of things that people can just go, oh my God, that sounds really great, or that, you know what I mean, just to help inspire.
Different
people of all ages. So just that would be my absolute goal. So I really hope I get there. But okay, question 2: is there any advice that you think your older self would give you now?
Yes.
So let's say 75-year-old Kerry. What would you say?
Probably work less.
Okay.
I work quite a lot.
Yeah.
And quite long hours. And I think sometimes even now I think, why?
Yeah.
Why am I doing this? I think, there's a life to be led, isn't there, outside of work? So I think, probably, take those opportunities to have more downtime.
Okay, then the final question is always just some advice or a saying, a mantra that you just live by, that you just want to impart out on anyone.
I don't think I've got any really wise words. I wouldn't say I'm particularly that person, but I just think, I used to have, I think I still got it actually, I think it's behind the mirror, that I've got a sign up in here that says, just keep going.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you the number of times over the years that I've felt like giving up and then looked at that and just thought, just keep going, Kerry. Just keep going. This will get better. This will pass. Yeah. I think in life, that's generally my thing. Just keep going. Just keep going. But also, like, if you've got an idea, then kind of give it a go.
Yeah.
Like you say, it's not necessarily a failure, and it doesn't have to be all in.
It doesn't have to be the final thing.
No, and it doesn't have to be a full-time business. It could be like I don't really like the word side hustle, but, it could be like, I want to be more creative. Okay, well, I'm going to start making cushions and selling them on Etsy or whatever. And it doesn't, I've got my full-time job that pays my mortgage, I've
got this thing that feeds my soul over here.
Yeah, I think that's quite a good thing to have. But I think it's just as well having belief in yourself when maybe other people don't. Do you know what I mean? Or telling you that that's not the way forward, like just go and do your thing. I think it is having that faith in yourself that you can do something, like if you think you can do it, you probably can.
You can,
just crack on.
And work hard. If you think you can do it, believe in yourself, work hard. And...
I do think there's I am quite a realist, so I think people, we'd all like to run loads of lovely businesses, wouldn't we? Where we I'd love to swan in here, everybody else do the work, and I'll just do the pretty bit and play with some samples.
Someone brings you a coffee.
But life isn't like that. So I think it's being realistic about what you want to do. How much money do you need to earn?
Yeah.
And can you do that reasonably from whatever? Because there's not many businesses that launch and then make money straight off the bat.
No.
So how are you going to manage to that point? Have you got savings? Have you got this? Or maybe you don't need to worry about that. But, if you do, then I think,
have a plan, basically.
Have a plan, of how you're going to do that. And it might be like I used to have another part-time job alongside doing this. Yeah. So I used to do both. Even when I employed people for a while, I still had another job. Yeah. So just because I had to pay a certain amount. Yeah. And so, it's just, you've got to think it all through and then go for it, I guess.
Brilliant advice. Thank you very much, Kerry.
Thank you.
If you would like to hear more about this chat, see some pics and read about how to get started in this industry and or this role, then please go to our website www.twerk.org. The link is in this podcast page and across our socials. Sincere thanks.